more week until Anime Expo, the biggest anime convention in North America. For some, it's their home con. Others dream to one day raise the money and book the time off to fly in and see it once. And still more may never attend, but spend the whole first weekend in July glued to their computers, checking out the reports of premieres, licenses, and pointing and laughing at people walking around with body pillows. While I myself am not going this year, I know it can be pretty overwhelming for a first-timer if you're more used to smaller, medium-sized conventions, and that's why you've got me to help you out. I'll share a few tips that should give you an idea of what to expect and keep you from making mistakes. Now, this list will mainly focus on things to know at the convention. 1, because you've probably heard all the tips like fly into Burbank instead of LAX, or search for hotel deals before the convention block opens a million times before, but also, it's a week to the con. You probably got all that stuff squared away in January, so telling you now will help no one. With that said, let's go on. First off, telling you that AX is really, really big will not prepare you for the scale of it. Your entire local convention could probably fit in the dealer's room alone, even if it's good size from an objective standpoint. They have multiple buildings of a humongous convention center, and there are still so many people that you'll be bouncing like a pinball through a crowd every time you want to get somewhere. You will never complain about Costco on a Sunday ever again. It's pretty overwhelming in general, and if you've only been to little tiny conventions where they only have 2 or 3 rooms and the dealer's room is shoved in with the artist alley, I think you might faint on the spot. Speaking of fainting, prepare for heat. LA in July makes everybody wilt, and to try and help with crowd control in the building, many of the lines are outdoors, where your phone will probably shut off in a line due to overheating at least once. So if you get to a line an hour or more in advance, which you should if there's something you really want to see, be prepared. Sunblock, fan, water bottle. Absolutely bring a water bottle from home. The convention is full of fountains and fill-up stations anyway. You will be drinking a lot of water. On the upside, when you're waiting in the super long line to get into the convention in the morning, or to get your badge, though that's greatly improved starting last year, there will be street vendors selling things like fruit and drinks on the sidewalk. Pretty convenient. Also on the sidewalk, however, you know those religious protesters who go to any popular thing no matter what it is and tell everyone they're going to hell just because they want attention? Yeah, they're not just on TV, they're actually real and you will see them outside the convention center. They usually won't actually engage you, just stand around with signs playing a pre-recorded speech on a speaker, probably because they're towing the line and don't want to get arrested for harassing anyone. The most entertaining thing about this, though, is the counter-protesters. Sure, you won't see anything show-stopping most of the time, but parody signs and God loves Yuri chants are fair game. I can't stress enough to go on day 0. There's a much shorter line, plus the panels and events that day are smaller and less crowded. Well, except for last year's Aqua concert. The merch line alone for that was horrifyingly long, even early in the morning. If you do anything day 0, though, you do need a day 0 pass, including if you bought tickets for a ticketed event that day. At every main entrance, there will be attendants and tables for a bag check. Do not be that person at the bag check who holds it up for everyone else. Open your bags when asked, they'll usually just check the big compartments anyway. Don't complain or throw fits. And while the giant bags they give you when you get your badge are cool, you might not want to actually use them every day. Not only will you be less tempted to buy everything inside if you've got a normal-sized bag, you also won't have to pull a bunch of stuff out of your bag and take forever at the bag check every time you go back into the convention from outside. Bag check is supposed to keep things orderly. Keep it that way. I should also address that, even though this is a family-friendly event, anime conventions are where a lot of people feel free to be themselves without the filters they put on for polite society, and for some people, that freedom means being horny on Main. This has always been a problem at conventions. Remember the days of yaoi paddles? And ahegao shirts are invading enough cons that some have already started to ban them, but parts of AX lean into it. Sometimes it's handled well, like with age-restricted panels and getting carded when you go off into a high-walled vendor booth to buy some dojin. But don't be surprised if you see a guy walking out of said booth with a body pillow barely censored by masking tape under one arm, wearing one of those I bought hentai from J-list buttons and an entire ahegao suit. On the flip side, if people are keeping the R18 stuff in age-restricted spaces, don't publicly mock them for doing it at all. I'm talking to the people who were covertly filming in the line for the hentai VR last year and then posting it onto the internet. That was walled off for a reason. Don't be a creeper. Otherwise, basically, general con rules apply. Never buy the convention center food, it's overpriced and tastes bad, and there's better stuff at LA Live and the food trucks across the street. Ask before taking pictures, no one likes a ninja photographer. Please shower. That kind of thing. And you'll find enough merch at AX that even if you strictly limit yourself to things that are personally coming for your life, you really need to keep in mind how to budget and get a good idea of how much can fit in your luggage. Even if you really, really want the meter-long Nessabetty of your best girl. I hope this helped some of you out who may not have attended in the past and are gearing up to try it now. This is Secret Identity Studio, and one last piece of advice. If Funimation brings back that My Hero Academia themed obstacle course, please don't do it in a skirt. I speak from personal experience. Thanks everyone. I know this video was a little rushed, kinda like my Bandori video last summer. I've had some stuff going on and I'm still getting used to some new equipment. Don't worry, next week should return to form. Thanks for always checking in. See you next time.